The rain pounds, mercilessly, against the glass window. It is bleeding shadows across the empty living room. Julianne sits alone, her fragile hands clutching a mug of cold coffee. Suddenly, her phone rips through the dead silence. Its vibration is rattling the wooden table. The screen flickers instantly, radiating an intense, deep crimson glow. A stark federal-level warning flashes across the glass surface, blinking rhythmically like a digital heartbeat. The sharp automated text cuts through the dark, reading clearly, Google AI phone warning. Potential voice manipulation detected. Her breath hitches in her throat, her fingers trembling violently over the green answer icon, dreading the unknown entity waiting on the other side of the line. She presses the cold glass, lifting the device to her ear. A heavy cascade of digital static crackles, followed by a sharp, ragged breath. Then, the impossible happens. A voice emerges, soft, desperate, breaking with familiar tears. It is her son, Michael, the boy she buried 6 months ago after a horrific highway crash. The voice cries out, saying, "Mom, please help me. They have me locked in the dark." Julianne drops to her knees, her heart tearing apart inside her chest. The automated screen continues to blink its warning, screaming AI voice cloning scam, but her maternal soul completely shatters. Reality dissolves into sheer terror as the phantom voice begs for mercy, pleading for her to save him. The voice on the line rushes forward, gasping for air amidst heavy metal clanking sounds. Michael explains the nightmare, telling her the highway accident was entirely staged to escape a lethal criminal syndicate. Now they have tracked him down, holding him hostage inside a windowless basement in Mexico. They demand an immediate, untraceable transfer of $500,000 into an anonymous offshore trust account. If she contacts the federal authorities or hesitates for a single minute, they will silence him permanently. This is a deepfake audio manipulation of extreme precision, weaving personal memories into the extortion. Julianne listens, her logical mind completely paralyzed by the raw, agonizing terror of losing her child all over again. The camera slowly glides across the opulent, yet suffocating interior of the estate. This is a psychological thriller story wrapped in luxury and grief. Julianne is a wealthy widow, inheriting a massive fortune after her husband passed away. She possesses millions, yet lives like a ghost within these cavernous, silent corridors. Her vast wealth cannot buy peace, nor can it support her emotional stability, which has drastically degraded since Michael's death. Every corner of the house reminds her of what she lost. The expensive paintings, the hollow marble floors. She is completely isolated from the world, trapped in an empire of sorrow, making her the perfect, highly vulnerable target for a modern, predatory digital execution. The heavy oak door creaks open, fracturing the dark silence. Evelyn, her seemingly sweet, devoted daughter-in-law, steps cautiously into the room. She carries a silver tray with warm tea, her face masking an unreadable expression. Seeing Julianne's pale, trembling state, Evelyn moves closer, her voice dripping with artificial concern. She asks what is wrong, trying to peer at the phone hidden in Julianne's lap. This scene introduces the core family betrayal plot twist, lurking beneath the surface. Julianne instinctively hides the screen, remembering the chilling warning from the voice. She lies to Evelyn, claiming it is just a bad dream, protecting the secret, while the real viper stands right in front of her. Evelyn leaves, the lock clicking shut. Instantly, Julianne pulls out the phone, her heart racing. The line is still live, the timer ticking upward. Michael's voice returns, whispering a deeply intimate memory from his childhood. He talks about the small silver locket hidden beneath the third floorboard of his old bedroom. He mentions how she used to sing him to sleep when the thunderstorms terrified his soul. These are true Reddit horror stories, where scammers weaponize stolen data. Hearing these precise details, Julianne's remaining skepticism completely evaporates. No algorithm could know this, she thinks. The emotional anchor is set, dragging her deeper into the sophisticated trap, blind to the digital deception playing out in her hands. The modern operating system fights back, attempting to protect its user. The phone screen turns violent yellow, then flashes bright warning banners. The advanced security protocols analyze the incoming audio stream, detecting anomalous synthetic frequencies. The Google AI phone warning system aggressively sends a notification reading, "High risk of voice replication, terminate immediately." It demands biometric verification to continue the conversation. Julianne stares at the cold digital truth, but her ears are filled with her son's artificial whimpers. She feels the AI as a heartless machine, an obstacle blocking her from saving her flesh and blood. With an angry, decisive swipe, she bypasses the system, disabling all security firewalls, killing the only voice that was telling her the absolute truth. Reason is completely incinerated by the absolute power of maternal instinct. This psychological thriller story explores the dark depths of emotional manipulation. Julianne stands up, her weak posture suddenly reinforced by a dangerous, frantic energy. She walks past a mirror, but doesn't recognize the desperate old woman staring back. Her mind is trapped in a singular, obsessive loop: save Michael, obey the voice. The digital voice continues to feed her instructions, speaking with flawless cadence. It tells her exactly which international bank to use, how to avoid standard fraud triggers. She ignores her age, her physical fatigue, her common sense. She is completely blind to reality, guided entirely by a fabricated ghost, manufactured inside a criminal software interface. The massive glass doors of the city's premier financial institution slide open. Julianne steps into the sterile, brightly lit lobby, a stark contrast to her dark mansion. This is where her fortune rests, protected by ironclad regulations. She approaches the high-security wire transfer desk, her face pale but determined. She presents her documents, initiating the AI voice cloning scam execution phase. The teller looks at the massive sum, $500,000, and hesitates. The system flags the account, prompting the teller to ask standard verification questions. Julianne answers quickly, using the exact lies the voice commanded. She smiles tightly, masking her internal panic, forcing the system to authorize the massive exodus of wealth. The transfer is complete, the digital digits vanishing into the void. $500,000 gone with a single click. Julianne leaves the bank, her body numb, walking back out into the pouring rain. She returns to her silent estate, entering the dark living room like a moving corpse. She sits back down on the velvet couch, the phone clutched tightly against her ear, waiting for the final confirmation. Her son's voice remains on the line, whispering soft words of gratitude, praising her bravery. This psychological thriller story reaches a point of fragile calm before the absolute destruction. She thinks she did the right thing. She thinks her wealth has finally supported her son's survival. She rests her eyes, completely unaware that the trap is now fully locked from the inside. Midnight passes, the grandfather clock chiming low. Julianne wakes up to a parched throat, needing water. She walks silently into the kitchen, her footsteps muffled by the thick rugs. In the dim light of the open refrigerator, she notices Evelyn's phone lying flat on the marble counter. It is vibrating silently, its screen face up, glowing with a hypnotic electric blue light. This marks the beginning of the family betrayal plot twist, unraveling right before her eyes. The screen displays an active, complex audio processing software dashboard. Dozens of small digital folders are labeled with Michael's name, containing raw voice clips from old family vacation videos. The application is running a Deepfake audio manipulation module, processing vocal patterns in real time, generating the exact voice she just paid millions to save. The glass of water slips from her numb fingers, shattering loudly against the cold tile floor. The sound explodes through the silence, but Julianne cannot hear it. Her entire reality has imploded. This is a true Reddit horror stories moment, where the monster sleeps in the adjacent bedroom. She scrolls through the phone, her breath coming in ragged, agonizing gasps. She finds the sent history, the exact offshore trust details, the precise timestamp matching her wire transfer at the bank. The script for the kidnap call is typed out in cold, automated text lines. Evelyn, the girl she supported through grief, the widow of her son, was the architect of this torture. She used Michael's ghost to pickpocket her broken, bleeding heart. A soft footstep echoes from the hallway floorboards. Julianne snaps her head up, her eyes burning with icy rage. Evelyn stands in the doorway, the sweet demeanor completely gone, replaced by a chilling, dead expression. She sees her phone in Julianne's hand. She sees the broken glass on the floor. She doesn't panic. She doesn't apologize. Instead, she steps into the kitchen, her voice dropping into a low, sinister tone. This is the ultimate family betrayal plot twist materialized. Evelyn reveals she knows Julianne was going to cut her out of the family inheritance anyway. She calls it a fair trade, compensation for her lost years. She moves closer, cornering the old woman against the counter, threatening her to keep her mouth permanently shut. Evelyn doesn't realize that Julianne is no longer the helpless victim. While Evelyn was speaking, Julianne's fingers were moving inside her trench coat pocket. She had secretly activated her own device, dialing the local emergency services line. The open line has recorded every single word of Evelyn's confession, every extortion attempt, every violent threat. This psychological thriller story highlights the sudden, brilliant shift in power dynamics. Julianne brings her hand out, revealing her phone screen glowing bright green with an active 911 call status. Far away, police sirens slice through the distant rainstorm, speeding toward the estate. The trap has turned. The predator is now completely cornered by the very machine she used to destroy her target. Heavy boots stomp through the grand foyer, breaking down all deception. True Reddit horror stories end with police intervention. But this nightmare isn't over yet. Armed officers flood the kitchen, their flashlights cutting bright white beams through the shadows. They immediately disarm Evelyn, forcing her onto the cold tiles. She screams in absolute hysteria, her mask fully broken into shattered pieces. She shouts insults at Julianne, blaming her for Michael's death, screaming that the money belonged to her anyway. Julianne stands perfectly still, watching the police handcuff her daughter-in-law. Her face is an emotionless mask, a stone statue under the flashing red and blue strobe lights. The immediate criminal threat is removed, but the psychological damage remains absolute. The house drains of people, the flashing lights driving away into the dark. Julianne stands alone in the center of the quiet kitchen. The rain outside slows into a depressing, rhythmic drizzle. This psychological thriller story has stripped away her last family connection. She feels like an empty shell, a millionaire with no legacy left to protect. She slowly walks back to the living room, her limbs heavy with ancient exhaustion. She sinks back into the deep cushions of the velvet couch, staring at the blank white walls. The silence is heavier now, ringing in her ears like a persistent digital hum. She closes her eyes, trying to promote her mental recovery, trying to find peace in the complete void. The peace is a lie, shattered by a sudden vibration. Julianne's eyes snap open in the pitch darkness. It is not her phone, it is a different sound. She looks down at the coffee table, where an old, forgotten backup phone begins to ring. The screen illuminates the dark room with a clean, pristine white light. There are no yellow warnings, no red banners flashing on the interface. The Google AI phone warning system is completely silent, detecting no software anomalies, no synthetic frequencies. This is a direct, clean carrier connection from an unlisted international number. Her hand moves automatically, drawn by an inexplicable magnetic dread. She picks up the cold device, her thumb sliding across the glass, answering the ghost call. Static crackles cleanly, then fades into absolute clarity. A voice speaks, and Julianne's soul completely freezes. It is Michael. The exact same vocal weight, the identical rasp, the precise rhythm, but his tone is different. It is dark, real, heavy with authentic exhaustion. He speaks words that shatter her mind, saying, "Mom, thank God you answered this line. Evelyn doesn't know I am actually alive." This is the family betrayal plot twist reaching its terrifying climax. Michael reveals the highway crash was his own design to escape debt, and Evelyn was his target too. He says he is trapped by cartel boss networks in Mexico. He tells her the $500,000 she just wired actually saved his life. For real. The voice cuts off, replaced by a flat carrier tone. Julianne drops the backup phone onto the rug, her hands completely limp. Her mind is a chaotic battlefield, spinning out of control. This AI voice cloning scam narrative has morphed into a deeper, darker reality. She realizes the horrific truth. The first call was an AI clone created by Evelyn to steal her money. But the money didn't go to Evelyn's private account. It went to the offshore trust Michael had secretly hijacked. Evelyn thought she was scamming an old lady, but she was actually financing her dead husband's escape from the cartel. Julianne has unintentionally saved her criminal son while destroying her deceptive daughter-in-law, using the exact same pool of dirty financial wealth. The final scene descends into absolute, agonizing ambiguity. This psychological thriller story leaves the ultimate judgment to the audience. Julianne sits in the total darkness of her multi-million-dollar prison. Both phones lie flat on the floor, one black and dead, one white and silent. She has no family left, no trust remaining in humanity, only ghosts manufactured by technology and blood. Suddenly, a third notification sound chimes from her laptop across the room. A fresh email arrives, its blue screen light cutting across her broken profile. The subject line reads, "Verification complete. Welcome back, Michael." Julianne doesn't move. She doesn't breathe. Who can she trust when the voices of the living and the dead are exactly the same?